remember the way her voice cracked when she said it. Not from guilt, not from shame, but from the sheer arrogance of thinking I wouldn't question it. I already have plans tonight, with someone else. It was the way she said someone else that froze me mid-step. I stood in the kitchen doorway, the half-poured glass of wine trembling in my hand. My wife, Claire, didn't even look up from her phone. Her lips curled into the faintest smirk, the kind people wear when they've already decided how your reaction will go. I didn't ask who. I didn't ask why. I just stared at her, the woman I'd shared 8 years of my life with, the woman who used to call me her best friend, and felt something inside me quietly fracture. The signs had been there for weeks. Late-night texts she dismissed as work. The sudden urge to get some space. A perfume lingering on her clothes that wasn't hers. I noticed it all, but like any fool in love, I pushed it aside, hoping it was just a phase or stress, or something that would pass if I gave her room. But that night, that sentence, it was like she stopped pretending. With someone else. Who is he? I asked, my voice calm. Too calm, like the eerie stillness before a storm. She finally looked up, her eyes narrowing. Don't start this again, Daniel. Just a friend. I told you I need some time to clear my head. I forced a dry laugh. And you clear your head in a hotel now? Her fingers froze on her phone. You're being paranoid. Paranoid. That word. It's what people use when they're trying to make you question your own sanity, to pull the curtain back over your eyes. I didn't confront her further that night. I didn't beg. I didn't threaten. I just nodded, smiled faintly, and said the 7 words that made her pause mid-step. Have fun. Don't rush back on my account. Her brows furrowed, but she didn't ask. She grabbed her purse, her heels clicking against the wooden floor like a countdown to something I wasn't ready to admit yet, the death of our marriage. While she was gone, I sat in the living room staring at the clock. 8:13 p.m. became 9:40 p.m., then 11:05. I imagined her laughing over wine with him, the way she used to with me. I imagined her hand in his, the way she used to cling to mine on cold nights. By 1:17 a.m., I wasn't imagining anymore. I was remembering. The missed anniversaries. The sudden girls' nights that never had pictures. The way she started sleeping with her phone under her pillow. The truth wasn't something I had to uncover anymore. It had been handed to me, carelessly, like spare change dropped on the table. The next morning she walked in with that same smirk, though now it was tinged with fatigue. You're up early, she said, slipping off her coat. I didn't sleep, I replied. She hesitated. Daniel, we talked about this. You need to stop making everything into. I know, I cut her off, my tone razor thin. You had plans with someone else. I heard you. Her lips parted, ready to spin another excuse, but this time I didn't give her room. I don't care about his name, I said. I don't care where you went. I just want you to know something. She blinked, confused. What? That the version of me you left sitting in this house last night, the man who trusted you, who made excuses for you, who believed this marriage still meant something. He's gone. You broke him. You don't get him back. For the first time in months, her expression faltered. Her voice softened. Daniel, what are you saying? I stood up, walked past her, and placed a manila envelope on the counter. I called a lawyer 3 weeks ago. You made your choice long before last night. Her face drained of color. You're divorcing me. No, I said, meeting her eyes. You divorced me the moment you started sharing your nights with someone else. She sat down, her hands trembling slightly, and for the first time in a long time, I saw fear in her. Not the kind that comes from being yelled at. I never raised my voice, but the kind that comes from realizing the person you thought would always be there has finally stood up and walked away. Daniel, I didn't mean for it to get this far, she whispered. I almost laughed. You meant for it to get just far enough, right? Far enough to see if he was better. Far enough to see if I'd notice. Far enough to have a backup plan while keeping me on the hook. Her silence was my answer. The next few days were a blur of logistics. separating accounts, changing passwords, quietly moving my things into a friend's guest room. She texted often, sometimes angry, sometimes apologetic, sometimes begging to talk. But the thing about betrayal is that it doesn't scream when it kills you. It whispers. It slowly drains the color out of your world until one day you look at the person you loved and feel nothing but exhaustion. A week later, she showed up at my office. Her eyes were red, her hair messy, not the polished Claire I knew. "Can we talk?" she asked. I leaned back in my chair. "Talk." "I messed up," she said, her voice cracking for the first time without performance. I don't know what I thought. I just felt like you stopped seeing me. I let her words hang there. "And you thought he did?" She didn't answer. "I saw you every day, Claire," I said. "I saw how unhappy you were, and I kept trying to fix it. But you wanted something exciting, didn't you? Something that didn't remind you of bills and groceries and routine." Her tears fell then, quiet and quick. "I thought you'd fight for me." "I did," I whispered. "Every day I stayed when you were already halfway gone was me fighting for you. But now," I shook my head, "I'm done fighting someone who doesn't want to be here." She reached out, but I stepped back. For the first time she looked small. Not the confident, sharp-tongued woman who once made me feel like I could take on the world. Just a person who gambled and lost. "You don't have to hate me," she said weakly. "I don't," I replied. "Hate takes effort. I just don't care anymore." The divorce moved quickly after that. She tried to delay it, tried to talk me out of some terms, but I had evidence. Text messages, photos, a timeline. It wasn't about revenge. It was about closure. When the papers were signed, she sent me one last message. "I didn't expect you to just let go." I stared at it for a long time before replying. "You didn't let go first. You cut the rope and expected me to hang on alone." Months later, people still ask me if I'd take her back if she changed. The truth. No. Not because I hate her. Not because I'm bitter. But because once someone shows you what they're willing to risk for a few nights of excitement, you can never build the same kind of home with them again. Love can survive arguments, can survive distance, but it rarely survives indifference. And that's what killed us long before the affair ever started. Sometimes I replay that night in my head. Her standing in the doorway saying she had plans with someone else. If I'd begged, if I'd yelled, if I'd followed her, maybe things would have ended differently. But then I remember the way she looked at me that night. Not like a husband, not like a friend, like an inconvenience. And that's when I realized the most painful part wasn't that she betrayed me. It's that she expected me to stay anyway.